I do interviews with strong, independent journalists who millions of people actually listen to, like Howard Stern.
You're listening.
Yeah, like all the time I'm listening.
With Christian, Eric, and Karl sometimes.
Listen in your office, in your car, or even your neighborhood bar.
We're doing it. We're doing it. We're having fun. We're making it happen.
It's fun time. Open your mouth, close your eyes. We're going to give you a big surprise. And here it is.
Welcome to Who Are These Broadcasters? He's Eric Zane. I'm Christian Bladt. We have so much show that Eric, I don't think we would be able to handle it today. It was that much show, don't you think?
We keep adding more to it, and I love that. I mean, I love jam-packed shows, you know?
Well, coming up in a little while will be a gentleman beloved, the guy who puts the W in WATP, Karl Hamburger. But first, no man's hamburger, no man's chopped liver, the one, the only, you know him, you love him, most likely, Adam Hughes, also known as Hughezy. Hughezy, thank you for joining us for the first time.
what is going on to two of the best haired SOBs I've ever seen? We've got Eric Zane, looks like one of those Expendables, and Christian looks like well, let's not go there. I don't want to get flagged.
Oh. No, yeah. It's called flagged, but you could take the L out of it. Yeah, let's just say there's a reason why I always get mistaken for Nathan Lane. There's a reason to that, and there's a lot of excitement that Hughezy's here. Even Tiger Lily showed up early to say if Hughezy's in, I'm in. We have so many tremendous clips to get to today, but before we do that, Eric, let Hughezy and everyone in our audience know how super chats work on this program.
Well, we have a goal of about $4 per show. And if you want to be part of the show and have Christian sign off with something ridiculous for him to say, put a few bucks behind it, type it out, be creative. You might have to be creative and get in it past the YouTube censors, but you can somehow say he's affiliated with that little man who had a strange mustache in Germany. And on and on and on.
Charlie Chaplin.
Yes.
I was a big
yes.
fan. Yeah.
So you can do that and put some money on it. The one with the highest dollar amount, Christian will sign off with that. Some people like to wait to the last minute. Or if you just feel like helping the show grow, it's not going to grow. It's just, we're just going to spend the money. You can throw that at us. If you're funny, we'll put your chats up too, your super chats. And a lot of you are very funny, and we appreciate that.
Yes, there's already people in the chat having some fun. My buddy Eric Connor wants to know the over/under until Hughezy uses the C word. He's used it 5 times. You just weren't listening, Eric. I don't. I mean, there's
and it's pronounced the N word over here.
Michael Dombrowski, the Hitler Chaplin joke never gets tired. It's true. It really never does. All right. So that's the goal, not the steel toe level goal, but that's our goal for this show is to give me something stupid to say before we're over. And in fact, Eric Connor wasn't happy just giving us a regular chat. Go ahead. I want Christian to sign off with the Cranberries. So you want me to sing Zombie or Linger? You let me know which one, but $2 is not going to do it. Tiger Lily wants to know how much for Dennis Miller's cell phone number. There's a price, but I don't want to say it here. In any case, we're going to start somewhere really important. And honestly, we're going to stay in this area of broadcasting for a long time. We're going to head on over to talk shows.
I said, can you dig it?
I think so.
W-A-T-V. Now who are these talk shows? Just who are these talk shows?
So, our friend, I don't know if he's our friend, but Piers Morgan, we've shown him a lot on this show. He had a phenomenal guest on his show this week, and I want to set that whole stage. There's a clip from Who Are These Socials that we have to get to, but before we get to any of that, here's a clip from that same episode before the amazing guest, and I very rarely enjoy those shows where everybody yells over them about politics that I don't give a shit about. I don't know about you, Hughezy. I think I dislike all 4 people on the screen. Well, all 5 if you count Piers. But there's a guy who just isn't having the, let's say, gentleman on the ends bullshit. And I'm all here for it. It's a conversation about Gaza on Piers Morgan Uncensored.
Listen to my question.
Listen to what I'm saying, and you will understand, perhaps, what I'm trying to imply
very patronizing.
Here. Utilizing the hostages. Yeah, I am being patronizing. I don't know who the fuck you are, and you're over here chirping all the way from fucking London about Palestine and doing a both sides are fucking fine type bullshit. Where you're talking about how you want to fucking free Palestine, but also simultaneously, both sides got a lot going on. Shut the fuck up. You don't know anything, okay? I don't give a shit about what your perspective is.
Oh, fucking awesome.
I don't know who the fuck you are. Shut the fuck up. It's like you were on that panel.
Yeah, and if there's anyone who knows a lot about the Gaza's problem, it's me. I love liberals. There's so few of them that have their hair dyed purple. And this guy, this is what I love about them. They go, free Palestine. And they go, why? They go, I don't know. And honestly, if we did free it, you wouldn't be allowed to dye your hair purple because you would be dead.
Oh.
Yeah, it's true. He might get tossed off one of those roofs of the college buildings that they're all laying siege to.
But that's not fair to say. He would also get run over by a car too, Christian. Let's not just assume they're only going to throw him off a building.
They'd want to make sure he died a few times. And whoever in the chat said that guy sounds like Easy is spot on. All right. Well, the A story from that episode of Piers Morgan Uncensored is a guest he has on. And before we do that, we have to share a clip that was on the most recent episode of Who Are These Socials with our buddy Carl and Blind Mike. And it is a clip that does, I think, what no one expected. It made people feel sorry for Alec Baldwin. Take a look.
You please say Free Palestine one time. Why did you kill that lady? You killed that lady and got no jail time?
She's got good questions.
No jail time, Alec?
Sorry.
No jail time, Alec. You're putting innocent people in jail, Alec Baldwin.
I'm so sorry.
Free Palestine, Alec, just one time, and I'll leave you alone. I'll leave you alone, I swear. Just say Free Palestine one time. One time. One time.
Call the police.
One time, Alec. You know he's a criminal. You know he's a fucking criminal.
You guys think I'm out of
Come
here.
on, Alec, just say Free Palestine one time. One time, just one time, please. And I'll leave you alone. Free Palestine.
Uh-oh.
Fuck Israel,
Here it
fuck
comes.
Zionism. Please say it.
Uh-oh. Here he goes.
One time.
Could you do me one quick favor?
Oh! Did you see the side eye? He threw that side eye out. You knew it was coming, and then fucking cat-like. Motherfucker.
If anybody's good with editing and CGI, could you Photoshop in a gun and him going?
Yeah, I think it's not his first rodeo. It's not his first shooting rodeo. That is I feel like he's done that move a lot.
Yeah.
Like talking to the other person. Hey, can you help me? Boom.
Yep. That was great. Get a little closer. Just get within arm's length and then bust it.
Yeah.
There you go. I love that.
I believe that that video was originally shared by our buddy Reverend Shitstain. So shout out to him for doing the Lord's work.
But what a business that bakery, like what a promotion. There's nobody in it. The one staff member still wearing COVID stuff. Like nobody told them that restrictions are over.
Yeah.
And a black lady was in it. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Not there's anything wrong with that. That guy's the smartest person in the video. He's like, yeah, I'm not getting involved in this. She's got a camera in your face. I'm not going to force her out. I'm just going to stand here. I'm so glad I have this mask on. No one can see who I am.
But it's like a joke. A black lady and Alec Baldwin walk into a woke bakery.
And now we know what happens. D. Read the following word with the euro sign as a C. I believe it's Euro-unt is what you're going for.
Okay.
You got to give me more than $5 for that. All right. So the person who filmed the video, I suppose I could use the word lady. Their name is Crackhead Barney. And Count Eric Connor points out that this makes up for Alec Baldwin makes up for Eric Zane calling his own daughter a pig.
Oh,
But
yeah.
also,
I called
Alec
it
Baldwin. It makes up for Alec Baldwin calling his daughter a pig. So that person is Crackhead Barney. And Crackhead Barney was only too happy to join Piers Morgan on his show, Piers Morgan.
Oh, nice.
Alec Baldwin's antagonist there, who calls herself Crackhead Barney. Well, welcome to Uncensored.
Hey, Piers! I've been waiting for you, Piers fucking Morgan!
Oh,
I
okay.
wore my diaper today for you, Piers. Do you like it?
Not particularly, no. Do you want to sit down?
So, again, this is one of those instances where our audio audience is really the true beneficiaries of enjoying this show. She's wearing a diaper that, I mean, it looks like a toilet seat cover. They have her nipples taped, thankfully. It's not that uncensored, this show.
Right.
And how would you describe for Blind Mike or possibly our audio-only audience, Hughezy?
I would say that it's basically like Robin Quivers slightly before she lost her looks. They this the Piers Morgan show has a reputation for being a little right wing and having racist people on. So she's gone on to let everybody know that everything they think is right. She's not exactly compound media material.
No, unfortunately, but you can look for her on the MLC channel, probably fairly soon. And Count Eric Connor says, "I'm now jealous of Blind Mike, but aren't we all?" Obviously, let's get back to this clip of Crackhead Barney.
And Piers, can you bring me to Buckingham Palace? I would like to meet the Queen.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I'd really like to meet the Queen.
I don't think the Queen, if you mean Queen Camilla, she is probably tied up with royal engagements at the moment. If you meant the Queen who died.
Well, get me in, Piers.
Yeah.
Get me fucking in, Piers. I want it.
Okay.
What the fuck?
And they say women aren't funny. I won't stand for it anymore.
Right, yeah.
I mean, there's more laughs in this 6-minute clip than in the entire Lady Ghostbusters movie. I know, Hughezy, you're a fan of that film, but the rest of us found it to be lacking.
Yeah, Eric, if you haven't seen it, it's so good, right? Kate McKinnon says a sentence in a wacky voice. Where else are you going to get that? Especially in 3D. That's funny.
All right. Yes.
Well, she's all like, "Where's the thing?" And I'm like, funny woman, funny woman.
So Piers wants to know, speaking of funny women, he wants to know why Crackhead Barney harassed Alec Baldwin, why she did what she did, but she doesn't appreciate that line of questioning.
Why you did it?
What did I do to Alec Baldwin? Piers, do you see the damage that Alec did to me? Do you see the damage? Look at my arms. Look at my arms, Piers. Look at my neck. I was maimed by a white man on Monday. You're telling me what I did?
Oh.
No, you weren't maimed by Alec Baldwin on Monday, were you?
Oh, so bad. This is so.
He's playing it the only way you can, just very matter of fact and not entertained.
Yeah,
I'm highly entertained. I don't know what Piers is missing from this video. What are you going to say, Hughezy?
Fuck.
She's bombing so badly that not only is Alec Baldwin seeming innocent, I'd also like to take this time to say that Nicole Brown was a bitch that had it coming.
Well, that's why we had you here. Also, she's bombing so much, but yet I feel like she could still middle for Ray DeVito. I feel like that's probably a fair statement. Let's get back to Crackhead Barney here.
I was maimed.
No,
my
you weren't.
hand is broken.
No, you weren't.
My neck is broken.
No, it's
my
not.
Legs, look at my legs. My legs don't work. Look at.
Pointing out again for our audio audience, she's kicking her legs up in the air. So if they didn't work, they wouldn't go up in the air.
Piers, are you another white devil? Piers,
Well, yeah.
Morgan.
Who's
Don't
laughing?
do this
That made
to me,
sense.
Piers.
There's someone laughing
It's too
on the
early in
set.
the
Yeah, there's 2 of the panelists we had in our first clip, which is part of the reason why I started with it. They're actually in studio.
They love it. They think it's great.
I think their mics aren't even on, but it's hard to keep it all inside while this is unfolding.
Yeah, I think the best performance is that Pierce is just he's able to keep it together somehow. He's not even showing disgust. I don't know how the fuck he does it.
Yeah, it's like watching Eddie Murphy Raw all over again. Mostly because she looks like a man.
Right, exactly. There's something important that happens in that same clip, where she's going on and on about the damage that happened to her. So I want to make sure we get to this important moment. It's really for continuity that I want to make sure we see it.
Continuity.
Continuity. There it was, Eric.
Look at this.
Yes.
Piers, are you another white devil? Piers Morgan, don't do this to me, Piers. It's too early in the morning, Piers. Piers, it's too early.
Not the wig.
Your wig's come off.
Now she's going to look silly.
It's not a wig, Piers. It's my hair. I'm a white woman. I identify as a white woman.
Let me.
I think that's probably how she was able to get on this show. She's a black woman who identifies as white. That's the only way that Piers is going to book just a straight up white woman.
Yeah, that stupid piece of shit, Piers Morgan's going to bash her for being a publicity seeker, which is exactly why he got her on the show in the first place.
Right.
So he's a hypocrite.
It's a great point. It's probably been about 6 months since we've played a Piers Morgan clip, and then I couldn't have been more excited to get to this. Did you have a thought, Eric, or are you ready to pick up with Crackhead Barney?
Well, I think that the thought would be that I still really need to punch you in the face for not realizing that this has gone on long enough. You fuck.
Getting a coffee. You run in. You call him a killer.
I was getting a coffee too.
Okay, but you decided
I was
to.
getting a coffee
Okay,
too.
you don't have to shout at me as well. We can have a civilized conversation. I want to know seriously.
I'm very civil.
I wanted to know seriously
very civil,
why
Aaron.
you did
I don't know
what
why
you
you're
did and what
upset.
you hope to gain by it.
Piers fucking Morgan. You're asking too
Just for the
many
record,
questions.
my name is actually just Piers
What's
Morgan.
wrong with saying free Palestine? Piers, can you say free Palestine for me?
I think
Piers, can you say free Palestine for me?
if you stop shouting, yeah.
I want you to say it.
Yes, I'm happy to say.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not going to shout.
If you just,
Mr. Piers Morgan,
if you just
please
keep
say
quiet,
free
I can answer your
Palestine.
question. Yes, I'm very happy to
I'm
say
never
that.
quiet, Piers.
Sorry, you're still talking.
I'm never quiet.
Okay, but try.
I'm never
Otherwise,
quiet,
I can't.
Piers. I cannot
You asked me
shut
to do
up.
something. If you don't shut up, I can't give you the answer.
Oh my God.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'll shut up for you.
I absolutely believe Palestine should be free. Yes.
Okay, that's the point I wanted him to get out. So he absolutely believes he's making this bold proclamation to Crackhead Barney. And yes, Mr. Hughes, I saw you raise your hand. Thank you. We applaud politeness on this show.
Of course, it was the right hand that I had pointed out, but
We
she's
know.
talking so much, you would think that she's 1 hour into a film in a busy cinema.
Exactly. Eric, how would you have handled having a satellite interview with Crackhead Barney? Would you have let it go on as long as Pierce? Would you have let it go on as long as me?
I would have called her the N-word with a hard R, and then that would have been the end of it.
Why does she live near you? Because she's a neighbor. Get it? Ooh,
There's there's only one word that I want to use with a hard R, and that word is hamburger. Thank you to Karl Hamburger for coming in here at the tail end. Were
Christian,
you enjoying?
You can't use that word. That's our word. All right, buddy.
HAMBUR.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
Very offensive.
Hamburger.
What's up,
did you
Lady
enjoy-
K?
What's happening to H-Man?
This is your third appearance on this show. In how many
Well,
episodes, Christian? 30? I don't know.
I don't keep track because
Remember it says
means
Carl sometimes?
Yeah, here I am.
Yeah,
happening?
this is the definition of sometimes.
All right, guys,
So,
I gotta go. Great show, though. Have fun.
But before we dive into our main entree for this episode, Carl, what are your thoughts on Crackhead Barney? I mean, entertaining, but should it have been over after 90 seconds, both
No.
on Piers' show and my show?
No, Christian, she's not entertaining in any single way. She made Alec Baldwin sympathetic. So, yeah, you could have played 3 seconds of that. We all got the gist. We all get it. And then go, can you believe Piers had this person on for 7 minutes? And then we move on. That would be my notes.
If you had to choose between what you would consume on a deserted island forever, either her or Stuttering John, which I would pick Stuttering John.
Of course.
Oh,
it's not even up
mean,
for debate.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, who I'd want to be alone in a closet for 7 minutes in heaven? The answer is still Stuttering John.
I mean, if I can figure out how to tie a noose, I'd probably neither of those things, but
Why would you need a noose around her? Lady KKK.
do you have a stutter now? Hughezy?
Well, why don't you tidy up some super chats there, Eric?
We got that one from Count Connor for $2. Thanks to Barney. Hamas is now rooting for Israel. Why'd I say Israel?
Israel. I don't know. I think you've sang too many Christmas
Yeah.
carols.
Mr. Majestic, nothing more insane. Thanks. Say SJ is not a drunk. Okay. And that's it.
All right. When we catch up on super chats on this show, Carl, it doesn't take too long.
No, it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long at all.
One of the biggest things in broadcasting happened in the past week, and it was not Crackhead Barney, but this transcended the Dabbleverse, even the remnants of the Stern Fan Network. Howard Stern interviewed the sitting president. He sits a lot. Joe Biden. I couldn't believe it happened. I was excited to check it out right up until I sat through all hour and 15 minutes of it. Now, Karl, you, Vinny, and producer Chris did a great job covering it on WATP this weekend. There's a few other things. It's like basically an hour, 15-minute long cringe of the week, isn't it, Karl?
Yeah, I really focus on the whoppers because Joe Biden's making up these ridiculous stories, and any real interview would go, well, Joe, that obviously didn't happen. You're talking about 1952. And you're explaining it in this detailed way and explaining that you go back to that place and people high five you about it to this day.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Yeah. As if anyone he went to high school with has been alive in the last 20 years. You know,
Right.
I think, I don't think Scranton, Pennsylvania has a particularly long life expectancy, except for all the people he saved at the pool as a lifeguard. I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
Yeah, but maybe he does see people he went to school with when his son is dating their grandchildren.
It's probably about right. So I want to start with some different clips that weren't on WATP. There's a couple that I feel like we still need to address, but this one I haven't seen anywhere. I want you guys to listen very carefully as the president is speaking.
What a crazy career you've had. I mean,
Well, it's not like there's any straight line to it. It's not like I started off to, do that. It's like, anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty.
What the?
Did everybody hear that there towards the end? I want to make sure everybody heard it. I couldn't believe that no one's coverage focused on. I mean, look, it's 50-50. It's Howard or it's Biden, but my money's on Biden. But everybody heard that fart, right?
Yeah, I assumed it was from the third hole in his nose from medicine.
I didn't catch it.
I was so enthralled with the message that Joe was telling us that I was really focused on that.
And I was focused on the question, like, does anyone really give a shit about Joe Biden's background, considering the fantastic stories you could approach him now about or call or have a discussion about? He goes, yeah, let's talk about getting to know you. I mean, what the fuck is this, a first date?
I mean, in Howard's mind, it's absolutely a first date. The Howard that we know and love, Karl, would have had Hunter Biden on like 3 years ago.
Oh,
but,
sure.
But here, I want to make sure everybody hears this.
That it's like, anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So there it was.
That was
right
a nervous
there before
fart, too. That's definitely Joe, because that's a nervous fart where he realized he didn't know what he was talking about, and he had to do one of his famous anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of those anyways throughout there. And I think that, and Karl, you unfortunately, like me, you still get sucked in once in a while. If Howard has on like Metallica, it's like, oh, I'm going to listen. And then it's like, oh, he talks about therapy and if they hate their parents the whole time while they play like 3 songs. He's talking to Biden the same way he talks to a rock star, isn't he?
Yeah, he brought up his father right away. One of the first questions he asked. Joe Biden's father was born in 1915. Let's move on. 109 years ago.
Joe Biden's father was literally born 100 years before my son.
Wow. Has anybody brought up the fact, have you ever heard anybody describe Biden as looking more and more like that, what's that guy who's the ventriloquist?
Jimmy Carter. Oh.
Jeff Dunham has that puppet of that old man. He looks just fucking like him.
I think his name is Walter.
That's it, Walter.
I'll see if I can find a Walter for later in the show. So I'm
Christian, why would you pretend you didn't know that? What were you thinking just now?
What?
You actually know the names of the puppets for Jeff Dunham?
I did a radio show with a guy who likes Jeff Dunham. I had Jeff Dunham on 10 times.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to hear about Ahmed the terrorist, which I think he still does. I don't know if he still does Ahmed the terrorist. Anyway, I dove.
Someone was typing a $10 super chat. They just deleted it as you were saying that.
That's every show that
would have been our first ever. Actually, if I could, I had somebody send $5. I appreciate that, or we appreciate that. Eddie Valentino. About time Karl shows up to quote his show. Not even Don Reynolds would abandon his show, and he sucks.
I think it's important to point out this is not a show.
No,
this is not a show we're doing. We're just hanging out talking about.
I thought this was a show. Okay,
it is a show. So Howard really lays it on thick. This is from the end of the interview, And he's just, I don't know. I don't think I've ever hit on a woman this strongly in my life.
You for doing this today. I want to thank you for your compassion. The reason I'm so excited to talk to you was because
Do you see, I'm pausing this and I'll explain for our audio audience. You see the way he's clutching that mic stand, Biden? This is after like an hour and 10 minutes. I think that's his high sign of like, I gotta go, man.
That's his concentration face while his people pipe in and tell him how to respond. Because there's no way Biden's actually answering these questions. He doesn't know how to answer. He just sits there and thinks, where's the black guy?
You say that, but it wouldn't surprise me if someone's feeding him shit in his ear.
Yeah, it's
well, he does have those headphones on, so that he can hear Howard, who's in the same room as him. But yeah, he's probably getting some guidance.
Because I wanted to understand the tragedy in your life and how you dealt with it.
Of course.
And you're the kind of leader I love because we're lucky to have you in the office and serving as the father of the country. Because if you're a good father to your family, which you are, I know you'd be a good father to the country. And I want to thank you for providing a calming
Look at
influence.
his posture. Look at his
an
posture.
organized administration post-COVID.
Biden can't believe it. It's the greatest thing he's ever heard in his fucking life. Look at him. He looks different. He's shocked.
It's because nobody's complimented him on his parenting skills ever. Stuttering John's a better dad than fucking Joe Biden. Chris Benoit did a better job.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely the Madame Tussauds Joe Biden. I mean, I don't know that he could actually move. But yeah, I think you're right. He's like, all right, Howard, I know I'm the president, but you're really laying it on a little thick here.
Getting that vaccine out.
I'm sorry, who made the vaccine?
That
I know
was
the vaccine's not popular.
That was
but
fucking
if we're-
Trump's vaccine.
Yeah, I know. Trump doesn't want to take credit for it anymore, but let's give credit for it to Biden.
I remember what the world was like at that point, getting NATO, getting us.
Yeah, Howard, I remember what the world was like at that point too. Gas was $1.59 a gallon. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
You should have asked Biden. So, what was your favorite episode of when we would put a stick up the arse of a porn star and take turns doing ring toss on it, Mr. President?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I'm going to hand you a laser pointer, and if you could just show us the flaws of this naked lady in the studio, please.
Mr. President, is it possible for an A cup to be a supermodel? What's your thoughts on that? I've heard a former occupant of the White House weigh in on that. Howard always does it. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, Mr. President, would you like to control the Sibian while Janet Jameson pretends to be not hungover today? You're like, yeah, sure.
Do you want Gary Delabate to put a beekeeper mask on? Is it bothering you that he's in the studio right now?
I think that, unfortunately, the way Howard is now, he'd have Pete Buttigieg get on the Sibian while Biden controlled it. But he does this thing. We're talking about how he interviews Biden the way he does musicians. He's always like, hey, remember your greatest hits? Which it seems like something that John would do. But so he goes through a little bit. I'm not going to play that much of it.
In a president, or maybe it's that people don't feel like they're getting enough or something. I don't know what it is, but I'll give you your greatest hits. The lowest uninsured rate in history, 4 out of 5 Americans are covered for less than $10 a month.
What?
Yeah, I'm going to give you one of the greatest hits.
4 out of 5 are covered for less than $10 a month?
Yeah,
What kind of insurance is he talking about?
There's 3 of us here, and one of us lives in Ireland. I'm going to bet we all spend consistently more than $10 a month on our insurance.
By a factor of 100.
Yeah.
What's interesting to me is that Howard, who, I mean, well, it's not shocking anymore, knows how to interview people, and he knows how horrible this sounds to suck up like this. Yet he plows forward with reckless abandon. There's no questions. He's just saying nice things to his face and getting him to elaborate on his own shit.
Yeah, I mean, he also, kind of helps Biden when he forgets things, which we'll get to in a minute. Karl, which one do you think is worse, this or the Hillary interview? Because I thought the Hillary interview was the worst I'd ever heard, and then I heard this one. So it's really hard to choose, though, isn't it?
My favorite question to Hillary was just talking about the love affair she had with Bill. Before they got married, as if that wasn't just an arrangement strictly for convenience.
Howard, you were on the air in Washington, D.C. the last time Bill and I were in the same bedroom. Okay. Howard being Howard, he creeps through a little bit, but it's like, oh, just shut up and let the old man go.
Put a suit on for you. And here's the depressing thing. This is from my daughter's wedding a year ago, last summer, and now I don't fit into it. My belly is hanging over my belt.
What?
Oh.
That back and forth, like that's old school. Fuck Jackie the Joke Man.
I'm a little chunky now.
I'm having lunch with Jackie this afternoon. I'll tell him you said that. But in any case, if the whole interview was Howard just talking about himself, that would actually be great. Like, okay, so Mr. President, what's your favorite fart man bit? Can we play it for you? What's your, who's your favorite whack packer? Do you want to meet an underdog lady? But it's none of that. It's none of what made Howard Howard. But I guess it just reminds me why I don't listen to the show anymore. And Zane, you were never really a big Howard guy, right?
No, but I know exactly what you're talking about, what you're referring to. It'd be ridiculous to even call him a shell of himself.
Yeah. Well, you're going to see that shell right here because there's some emotional moments that Biden has that, even I didn't want to clip. But if Howard had a clip of this 30, 40 years ago where, say, Imus was interviewing Reagan, I mean, he would have torn him to shreds for weeks, months, possibly years. But watch and listen to Howard as he talks to Biden about, some of the loss he's experienced in his life.
You have this beautiful romance, love at first sight, I would say. I don't know how you recover from something like that.
So you hear it in his voice. He's got his glasses on. Howard's crying on camera to the president of the United States.
When he talks about Biden's love at first sight, does he mean the children at press conferences that he would walk up to and smell their ears, which nobody then comments on because it's okay?
I believe he just smells the hair. I don't think he actually gets in on the ears usually. That would be weird. That would be problematic.
So, yeah. I take that back. Vote Biden.
All right, we got that. We got that out of you.
Is Howard doing some type of ASMR? Because he's really trying to bring up that emotion and trying to convey that, which seems remarkable that he would even attempt that in the first place.
Well,
I think he doesn't want to speak too loudly in case it startles Granda Biden.
I mean, just
why are you hitting me?
What do you think it would do for the audio levels if Howard spoke at his regular register and Biden was just whispering into the microphone? So that's probably why he's doing that.
Did he hey Noem?
Does Biden ever really start to have a conversation with him, or is it just Howard throwing accolades at him and Biden just agreeing with him?
No, he definitely talks. You want an example of Biden talking? He needs help when he talks is a little bit of the problem, but we know that, and the stories he does tell, as Karl pointed out, they're not necessarily true, but when he is trying to remember things, he doesn't need any help from Howard.
In law school. What happened was I got an opportunity to go to some more prestigious law schools, but didn't have the money to get there. So I was.
You were at Syracuse.
I was at Syracuse. It's a good law school,
right.
But I thought I was going to go to either Cornell or no. Anyway.
Oh.
Yeah, he could go to a bunch of law schools, either Cornell or anyway. So yeah, that's kind of what it's like. That's the majority of Howard's role.
Sorry,
I live in Rochester, which is one town over from Syracuse. Is that known as a good law school? I've never heard anyone refer to Syracuse as a good law school.
I know it was a good communication school.
Yes, they're known for communications and basketball. Yes,
I may or may not have gotten into it, and the fact that I went to Marist College will tell you about that. But a lot of broadcasters went there. The great Sam
Jim Boeheim. I think Donovan McNabb, right? Donovan McNabb, maybe.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. Got that. And law. Lots of law.
Lots of law. So, Karl, I know you played this clip on WATP, but this next one it's very important because Biden makes the distinction that yes, he's a stutterer, but he doesn't have a real.
What they ever got was being a stutterer. Because you know what it's like to be humiliated. You know what it's like. I don't want to exaggerate it. It's not like I had a cleft palate or I had a
Yeah, fuck those guys.
But it's something people make.
Yes.
Palate or I had a club foot or a. But it's something people make fun of.
Yes.
Fucking footed, you asswipe.
Yeah. He does have a stutter when he's like, "My son's a Peter Piper picking," you know.
Yeah. So, Karl, you may have been born with a club foot, but you didn't grow up with people yelling this.
Piece of shit. That's very true.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. But that was the moment where I was like, oh my God, I can't wait for Karl to watch this.
I was getting text messages from friends of mine going, "You will not believe what Biden just compared stuttering to." It's the funniest thing. Who comes up with that? I've never heard anyone in casual conversation be like, "Look, I had it bad, but it's not like I was club-footed or something." You know what I mean? That's such a random thing to say.
Yeah.
I've never even met someone else who's club-footed. I mean, I know Eric the actor was, but
I didn't even believe you were until I made you explain it to me. I was like, wait, so what's going on here?
Yeah.
What is even this? I don't even know what it is.
Oh, that's so bizarre.
You made him show you his feet like Crackhead Barney. Is that what you're getting
No.
at
I
today?
just made him tell me. I go, so what is going on with club feet and what happens? And, and so he had to explain it to me. So, yeah.
Apparently, it's so humiliating that I'd rather be stuttering all the time.
Yeah.
According to our president.
It's much harder to be president with a club foot. So, Karl, I guess this is the moment where you realize, oh, I can never be president.
Hey, real quick, when we were talking about Syracuse before, so Biden, and I assume you haven't seen this, Eric. You haven't heard this interview?
Sir.
Okay.
Nope.
So Biden claims that when he was a lifeguard, remember Corn Pop, bad dude? Corn Pop?
Bad dude.
And so when he was a lifeguard, you don't know that story?
No. What is it?
Oh, gosh. But when Biden
my
was
gosh.
running for office, he was telling this story at some presser or something where he was a lifeguard and there was this guy, Corn Pop, who wanted to stab him with a knife after his shift. And he was nervous, but he grabbed a big chain and he was going to battle this guy.
Okay.
Anyway, it's the most ridiculous story. So Howard's asking him about his time being a lifeguard at this scary pool in the ghetto. And Joe explains that he saved a half a dozen lives. That's just what you do as a lifeguard. You just save people all the time. And then he goes, "I also saved someone in Lake Ontario when I was going to Syracuse." As if people are just drowning in lakes and pools all the time. This is not happening. He's making this shit up. And Howard, for some reason, thinks that Joe Biden was Forrest Gump. Every fucking thing that was ever invented in life in modern times, this guy did.
Wow.
Well, I do believe that Biden may have saved a potato that was drowning in Lake Ontario, but I can neither confirm nor deny that. But I don't think he saved any people. He talks about how Trump talks about his stutter, and this is in the Whopper category.
Trump makes fun of me.
Right.
He was the kind of guy in the neighborhood. I wish he could have gotten in the neighborhood, meet head to head. But anyway.
What would Joe Biden have done if Trump ended up in the old neighborhood? How do you think that fight would have gone, Hughezy?
Well, we've all seen that Donald Trump was able to take down Vince McMahon with a single clothesline at WrestleMania.
Good point.
Yeah, and not only did Trump become president, he became president after taking the Stone Cold Stunner. The man feels no pain. If they ever fought, it's pretty obvious that it'd be a single spinning roundhouse slow-mo kung fu kick right to the face of Joe Biden. Trump first round knockout.
Perfect.
I mean, I don't know what I could possibly add to that.
I have a question for you guys who watched this interview. If Trump did grow up with Joe Biden and Joe Biden beat him up, how much money would Joe's mom have given him for doing that?
I believe it was a quarter.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that's how much it was.
Eric, his mom paid him a quarter to beat up a bully, to punch a bully in the nose.
I would have thought they didn't even have currency back then.
Wow.
Well, I like that Joe explains. He goes, she gave me a quarter, which was a lot at that time. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm familiar with history, sir.
Oh.
Well, anybody who knows what Howard's up to these days, even if you check in briefly, you knew that it was inevitable that he would ask this question.
Consider
How big's your penis?
psychotherapy or speaking to a therapist at the time when you lose your family and you're in crisis?
I didn't.
You know, I've never seen a therapist, but my son is the rapist.
Allegedly, Hughezy. Allegedly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the one that was dead.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, I was surprised it took him half an hour, Karl, to get to that question, because that's what he wants to ask everybody. And he's like, oh my God, his family died in a car accident, or his wife and his daughter. And he's like, oh, I can't wait to talk about all of his suffering. And he never gets what he wants. Nobody's ever like, oh yeah, no, I still go to therapy 5 days a week, just like you.
Right. And what's incredible to Howard, what he can't wrap his arms around, is the idea that Joe Biden went through this horrible, tragic thing in his life and then went on to live a very productive life, including becoming the president of the United States of America. Because in Howard's mind, if you don't go to therapy, you've given up on life. That's the only way forward.
Even if he had been just the vice president, Howard would be like, I don't know how you got out of bed. Howard would probably be crying. MAGA Ray DeVito, Hughezy, Jeff Lane, World Order for Life. Hughezy is not responding well to that. He's giving a very vigorous head shake to that. One other thing about the therapy before we tidy up this Biden conversation. Here, Howard's projecting his own fantasy about family, and he lists off how Biden was able to not go into therapy.
Your sister and your brother moving in and all this support system and,
my mother, my father.
Yeah,
my
the loving family. I mean, it's so, I guess in a way you can get away without getting a therapist.
So what's it like if your family actually loves you? Because clearly I can't relate to that.
That is an interesting tell right there. Where he's like, my family came together because we were having a hard time and they helped me get through it. And Howard's like, they didn't just abandon you? Then I'll just move to different parts of the country and never talk to you again? Huh, weird.
And he's like, one time Donald Trump made fun of me. I was live streaming and my wife told me to go take a nap.
Now that would be embarrassing.
Yeah, that would kick you off the internet. I don't know how you
Napping World Order, NWO.
Did you see this gift I got to our P.O. box recently?
Oh my God. That's a face mask that says napping queen. And,
I haven't opened it yet. I got to get on that.
I wonder if Howard, when that ends, because it seems to me like he's basically just doing the talking for both people in this.
It's very scripted for sure. I mean, he knows what they're going to talk about.
And I wonder if he gets done. I mean, when he finishes that, is he like, God, I'm glad that's over. I knew that was going to be bullshit. Or does he look in the mirror and go, fucking crushed it?
He's so proud of himself. So, Eric, at the very beginning of the interview, he's nervous. And you can tell Howard really is nervous. And I think it's because his job is to make it seem like our president didn't die 4 years ago. He has to spend the next hour and 15 minutes trying to convince an audience that this guy is not brain dead. Like, that's a tough job. I wouldn't want that job.
Oh, shit. And he did it, obviously, pre-recorded, right? And then just put it out. It wasn't live, right?
So yeah, so he did the show on a Friday, which he usually only works 3 days a week, and Robin wasn't there. But the most important thing is that he went into the studio. Howard never goes in the studio. He just did it for Springsteen and then for Biden.
Yeah.
Usually he's in his bunker out in the Hamptons. So he's talking about putting on a suit, but he actually went into the studio. So I can only imagine how much, poor Beth O having to spend all of her days holed up with this guy who's afraid to go outside and he gets to go talk.
You
to
think
the
they
president.
see each other in that house, Christian?
Okay,
Are you kidding me? She's got a whole wing to herself.
Well, where else are the kittens going to go, Karl?
Right. That's where she's hanging out. There's multiple kitchens in there. I don't even think I could navigate that building in a day. I don't think I can get from one end to the other.
Well, Eric's made the point. You guys finally got entertaining hosts. I like the upgrade.
Yeah, but Hughes.
So we're here. Yeah, we're. Just a couple more clips, but mostly because Eric, I think I've done the interview a disservice. I keep just focusing on Howard because to me that was the real story. I want to give Biden a chance to talk for himself.
I think there's an awful lot of military personnel who are not enamored with Trump. I don't think it's and a fair number of them voted for me in 2020.
Good.
I mean, I don't know the names, but my point is, we.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
No,
I
don't
mean,
try
I don't
it.
know. I mean, there's Johnny, there's Paul, and
Don't ask me to prove it, but
Steve's
I'm
in the
sure.
Air Force.
A lot of them voted for me in 2020. I don't know their names because we didn't check the signatures when the mail-in ballot came in. We were going to bother with that.
Solomon, he's on an aircraft carrier somewhere.
Unbelievable.
The best way to put a bow on this interview is with Biden just really making the case for how he's going to preserve democracy and why Trump is so bad. He's going to really make the case here.
Trump thinks we should not have NATO. He thinks we should not. He doesn't support NATO, and he thinks they're not inviting Putin to invade Ukraine because they not putting or any other NATO partner because they're not putting enough money up.
Can you believe there are two people who believe that?
I mean, can you believe there's two people who think Joe Biden should
started to
spend
lean
4 more
there.
years in the White House?
And they cut away after he started leaning, which tells me somebody actually centered him in the shot. And didn't Trump say if you don't pay, you're out? Isn't that what he said about NATO?
He's
is
not
what he
against
said,
NATO. He
No,
just doesn't want
he doesn't.
us funding it all.
He just says, look, we just want you all to carry the load with us.
Correct.
I don't know. So what are your thoughts, Eric, seeing that for the first time? I know, and I'll ask you in a moment, Hughezy. I know Karl and I put ourselves through watching the whole thing, but what do you think?
Let me just interject real quick
Yeah,
there,
sure.
before, because you don't know about this, but then Howard asked Joe Biden if Obama should have been a war criminal for when he killed those U.S. citizens overseas without a fair trial, and something that no other U.S. president has ever done before barely gets brought up. I was like, Howard, thank God you brought that up. And do you remember Joe's answer to that? I mean, that was a good part of the interview, right, Kristen?
I think actually that's when Biden farted, because he didn't know how to respond.
He goes,
to it.
anyway.
But I like the bit when Stern mentioned how Obama campaigned against gay rights at the beginning of his campaign.
Yeah.
And they got a good back and forth.
Yeah, and they spent a lot of time talking about all the segregationists that Biden was friends with early in his career. I mean, they covered all that stuff.
They also
I didn't
talked
wanna
about
clip it.
the 94 crime bill that made it so you went to prison longer if you had crack cocaine as opposed to powdered cocaine, because obviously black people appreciate that style more. They talked a lot about that.
What the fuck?
And of
I'm
course,
sorry.
they finally agreed on the location of Hunter Biden's laptop. It was all decided only on Sirius.
When those when these moments end, like when that show is done, because there's people because Biden doesn't even know where he is. He doesn't even know who he's talking to, and he's doing what he's been told. He's said that many times. Things like, oh, they'll get mad at me, and I can't take questions. So when the people who do make those decisions for him, do they like high five? Do they go, oh God, holy fucking shit! Oh, I'm so glad that's over. Is there any victory? They can't be happy, right?
Easy. I think you've summed it up perfectly. It's exhausting.
Oh.
Talking to Joe Biden for over an hour is exhausting. You can't do it in one sitting. I dare you.
Wow.
Whose job's harder, Gary Delabate or the press people for Biden in having to say, like, yeah, this was great. This was really well done. I think people are going to be happy with it.
Stuttering John's Hollywood agent, I'd say, would be the hardest of all these jobs.
Well, look, he can't do anything. The strike's still going on. That's the problem with the Hollywood agent.
That was hilarious.
All right. So as if all of that wasn't cringe enough.
I think we're going to get Hughesy's thoughts real quick on this.
I'm sorry, Hughezy. Yes.
Hunter Biden's a pedophile.
Okay.
No,
I'm glad I interrupted for that. Thank you.
I've got something that, believe it or not, is more cringe than every one of those clips. I just saw it this morning. If you think it would be bad for Drew Barrymore to sit down and talk to Kamala Harris, you'd be right, but you would not be prepared for the way that it actually went.
That we really all need a tremendous hug in the world right now. Yeah. But in our country, we need you to be Mamala of the country.
Has anyone ever commented how much she looks like Corey Feldman?
Have they ever been in the same room at the same time?
Well, that's why Drew Barrymore wanted to sit so close to him. Drew Barrymore, of course, worked with Steven Spielberg when she was an underage child. Don't Google it.
No. I saw that movie. Hughes.
An underage child.
Dude, I've seen celebrity sex tapes where the people aren't that close together.
I've seen Chad Zumach's sex tape.
Oh,
Got a cock like Godzilla's
Wait a
tail.
minute. Is there one?
Maybe.
There's been some chatter about it. Oh my God, super happy fun chatter, 1969. But that might be our big one at the end, but I'll read it now. I, Christian Bladt, support the Palestinians. Believe me, I've had Jewish landlords, and you really have to go to war with those people to get them to fix anything.
It's as good a reason as any, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know why they sent that with money attached to it. I mean, look, I told you we read the best ones for free. Well, Karl and Hughezy, I don't want to keep you guys longer if you don't want to hear about Kristi Noem killing her dog, because that is what we're going to talk about next. But
that's a crazy story. You know what? I don't know if you guys pulled these up, but I do want to thank Hulkamania.
Oh my gosh!
Yay! Super chats.
Hulkamania has been everywhere the last couple of weeks. I appreciate that. Gifting 5 who are these podcast memberships, and then he comes back with another 10.
Yay! Super chats.
Hulkamania.
So thank you very much for that, Hulkamania. If you're watching the show, you got to go into your settings and select accept gifted memberships. You'll get a free membership. You get the bonus shows. You can watch WTP live on Wednesdays and Saturdays when you are a member. Go to their community tab. All the links to all the shows are there.
God, you like know that like the back of your hand. Like you almost planned that to happen.
I've actually had it happen before. That's probably why.
Really? That's so weird.
It's nuts.
Right? No one gifts memberships during our show. I did enjoy, Blind Mike's what, 30? And you had to explain to him like a boomer. No, here's how you turn on gifted memberships on your channel. He's like, oh, I didn't know how that worked.
No, I guess he just never explained to people you need to do that. I only know because Shuley says it every fucking episode.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, does that surprise you, Hughezy, that Shuley says it every episode?
Because he's a businessman, of course.
Yes, that's what I was getting at. All right, so look, Kristi Noem is the governor of South Dakota, and she has quite a story in her upcoming book. And I went to the one source for any time there's a critical story of Republicans. I went to the Young Turks, where a comedian named Ben Glebe read the highlights as covered by the Daily Beast.
Christian.
Yeah.
I didn't get the chance to take your offer to
leave
out because I've actually got to go.
Yeah.
Well, if I could just do a quick cheap plug,
please.
The most recent YouTube podcast I put out, it's all about the lovely James Cameron, who made the little underground films such as Aliens and Titanic and Avatar 15 and stuff like that. I was joined by WATP alumni Kaylee, a woman. Also joined by Doug from Great Times, Great Movies, a woman. And also the lovely Lemmy joined me, who's in the chat. She's got a set of milkers. And you can see that all on Hughes Entertainment on YouTube. Just jump in the comment section, spam it up. I don't actually care what you say. I just wanted to raise the view count. Thank you.
Right, and also
Well
check
done.
out the episode that I did where we talked about Quentin Tarantino, who I think we decided wasn't a hack. That was the end result of that episode.
Twas, though I reverted back to he is a hack.
Okay, well, at least the episode said that he wasn't. And Square says, don't let the door hit you on the arse on the way out. Well, Hughezy, we appreciate you watching two very old men talk about what a great leader the older one is. Oh, my gosh. Why are you putting those up? Karl, why are you putting those up?
That wasn't me.
Well, we love Hughezy, and we hope to have you back on the show sometime soon. Thank you, Hughezy.
Thank you very much. And
Thanks, Hughezy.
White Power Ranger.
Right, of course. That's everybody's favorite Power Ranger. All right, so
I love the way
here's
that guy talks. I just love it. I could hear him talk all day.
You know what? He's not even Irish. He just drinks that much.
Okay, good.
Right.
Unbelievable.
He's actually from North Carolina. All right,
Yep.
so here's the account from Kristi Noem's book.
Governor reportedly writes that Cricket tried to bite her when she eventually managed to.
Okay, so I did a bad job setting that up, Carl. That was a rookie move. Cricket's a dog. Okay, so this is the story
I
about.
thought it was a black guy.
What? Yeah, well, that's another chapter. That one hasn't come out yet.
Governor reportedly writes that Cricket tried to bite her when she eventually managed to grab the dog. Quote, "I hated that dog," Noem writes, adding that Cricket was simply untrainable and dangerous to anyone she came in contact with. It was then she realized they had to put her down. Noem explains that she grabbed her gun and took Cricket to a gravel pit. It was not a pleasant job, she writes, but it had to be done. Afterwards, she writes, she decided she also needed to kill a male goat she owned because it was nasty and mean because it was uncastrated, complaining that the buck loved to chase Noem's children around and would wreck their clothes by knocking them down.
So what was that easy?
Good thing Grandma wasn't there. Holy fuck! What a massacre!
Grandma's being real ornery today.
She killed the first one and said, "You know what? I fucking love that fucking goat. Oh yes, I'm gonna go." Now she's killing everything. She's shooting all the goddamn animals.
Yeah, at some point she talks about how she had to put down a few horses.
Yeah.
So
hot.
There was a.
Remember the chapter where the cat scratched up the couch? So she slowly tortured put the cat in the microwave. I think was that story. That was a good one too.
Yes, that's a great one.
Writes of the goat that she dragged him to a gravel pit like Cricket, but the killing did not go as smoothly as opposed to the very smooth experience of the previous one. The goat jumped when she pulled the trigger, Noem says, meaning the goat survived the shot. She adds that she went back to her truck to get another shell, so she only had one shell with her, and then hurried back to the gravel pit and finished putting the goat down. Wow. She also writes, when her daughter Kennedy came home from school, she looked around confused and asked, "Hey, where's Cricket?"
That's where I want that story to end.
Why did she say, "Hey, I love this story. I was so wet after doing that I want the world to know how wet I was."
Wasn't it Mitt Romney who tied his dog to the car that they drove off?
Yeah.
Kind of like Vacation, National Lampoon's Vacation. It's like when you kill a dog, the opponent is going to use that against you, dummy. You don't want to be the one bringing that up.
This was a great move. This is a wonderful move because the people who, I mean, this is South Dakota, and let's be honest here. There's a real divide in the country, and literally half of the country. First of all, they love that she's hot. Second of all, they think it's hot that she's killing animals. This is going to break good for her.
No, hold on a second. Eric, are you trying to say that the Republican Party likes killing pets? Dude, Republicans think dogs are cute too,
no,
asshole.
You asshole. I'm talking about the people that live in all these far-off places in the hills, these hill
No one
people.
thinks shooting pets is a fun thing or a good thing.
Bullshit.
Well, come on.
I don't know. Kristi Noem didn't seem too upset because, as she explained when the story broke, we love animals, but tough decisions like this happen all the time on a farm. Sadly, we just had to put down 3 horses a few weeks ago.
The slaughter continues. I want her to do it in a bikini while she's fingering herself.
Wait, you had to put down 3 horses? Okay, we didn't have to. I mean, I got to have some fun. I just want to work on a farm.
Down.
It's only fans. People have fuck her in the ass while she shoots animals.
And her other retraction or apology is just like, the story's from 20 years ago. What the fuck's your problem, everybody? I don't know.
By the way, I got a window open. I got to close this so my neighbors don't hear these ridiculous things.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. While you're gone, I hate to give some pub to the Lincoln Project, but they did do a funny
Dog
video.
owners know our furry friends can be a lot to keep up with. But when those tough moments come, you have options. Shooting your dog in the face should not be one of them. And if you do happen to shoot your dog in the face, please don't write about it in your autobiography. This has been a public service announcement directed at any Republican who may be considering murdering their dog.
All right. So again, like with our first clip of the show, you don't have to believe in the message to understand that something's very funny.
Look,
and
at the end of the day, any Republican, if they're worth anything, okay, they're not going to let that sway them. She might be the vice president one day. They're going to be like, well,
not anymore.
You don't think so?
Well, if she is picked as the running mate, then I got to think Joe Biden's got to get Sarah McLachlan. Get rid of Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
just run those sad freaking tortured dog commercials as their campaign commercials all night long.
You got to work Michael Vick in as the manager of all this shit.
No, Trump gets Vic.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the point I was going to make. I can't imagine. I know, Eric, you think that this is going to help with the poll numbers.
This is a winner. This is a power move.
I feel like this book is coming out because she didn't want to be vice president. That's the only reason that makes sense to me. But Karl, I guess he sees the political landscape a little bit differently than we do.
Well, it's interesting because Eric owns like what, 6 or 7 dogs?
I have 4.
You have 4 rescues?
Look,
you used to have 6 or 7. Okay, now I'm understanding what's going on
the other
here.
ones in the fucking face.
Yeah. Don't check the gravel pit in the backyard, Karl.
By the way, you don't have to shoot a dog in the face. You can shoot it in the leg. It'll bleed out.
Yes.
Don't worry, it's not going anywhere.
And if you're hot, you can. I have no problem with this because she's so goddamn attractive. That's
Also,
what I'm telling you.
Don't
I
be a
encourage
fucking
it.
rookie. Have 2 shells in your shotgun because she talks about how she had to go back and get another shell. No.
Or if you just graze them on the first one, start kicking the shit out of them until they die.
I thought it was going to be like that scene. Did you ever see the movie The Jackal with Bruce Willis when they shoot the fuck out of Jack Black? I thought it was going to be something like that where there's dog parts flying everywhere and oh god.
You could also curb stomp it like the RB Major. There's a lot of different ways that you could go.
Oh my god.
Before we finish up for this week, I want to take a look. I'm not reading that one, but Eric, it's aimed at you, so you can decide if you want to read that. There's a White House Correspondents' Dinner this week, and I don't have as many clips from it as I could because I'm going to be honest, Colin Jost was actually pretty funny, but who wasn't funny was this guy Matt Friend, who they had doing crowd work. Now I don't know if Karl, you know Matt Friend's name, but he, over the last few years, he does a pretty good impression of Howard Stern. So he'd be on as fake Howard, saying the things that Howard won't let himself say anymore. But what he's not good at is his impression of President Trump, as evidenced by his crowd work.
It is really a tremendous opportunity to be at the most failed dinner anybody's ever seen. Great to see you losers. A lot of people say that. Hello, everybody. Why is it so quiet? What's happening? It's quieter than Sleepy Joe. Hello, Joe. How are you? Great to see you. We're going to debate, right? That's what.
Yeah. Even Biden's like, don't bring me into your bed. But so he doesn't look anything like him, which is fine.
No, it doesn't look like him, but the impression's pretty good, right? That's not terrible.
It's okay, but I think everybody's like, I don't think it was written very well, that first part that he did.
You probably don't want to insult the president there. You don't want to actually be Trump.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But the second clip I have of him, it continues to not go over well, but the jokes are actually pretty great. So I kind of like how people don't enjoy these.
You have a lot of people that could potentially be a vice president. You have Lara Trump, who's a lot better than Ronna McDonald. Who doesn't love Ronna McDonald, right? I'm loving it. You like a Happy Meal, right? You like that? But I will tell you this, you're so tight. It's so uptight, right?
So tight.
No, you're just not funny. But
what are you talking about?
This is where he gets me.
This dinner is sadder than Taylor Swift's new album, The Tortured President's Department, right? Look at him with the white tuxedo. He doesn't like me too much, right? But I will tell you, the Chinese apps are being banned. It's horrible. We have to post our David Peckers on Snapchat now. That's what they're saying.
All right.
Let's face it, folks. I'm on fire right now like the guy outside the courthouse, right?
All right, that's good.
Love that joke.
That's
Not
good.
bad.
Not soon enough.
He gets
Not
the
soon
groan.
enough.
He gets the groan. That's a winner.
But I will tell you, I am killing this dinner harder than Kristi Noem kills the puppies. Moving on, please.
All right, so two for like 20.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, but you know what? If you clean up in the 9th inning, sometimes that's all that matters, right? I mean, the Cubs were getting no hit last night and came back and won. So I had to rub that in.
Off of the Mets' elite closer, who apparently he's human once in a while. But Biden,
Sorry,
obviously, it's all right. Come on. The season was over before it started. It's fine. But Biden did speak before Colin Jost, which I don't remember the Correspondents' Dinner going that way. I always thought that the president went last, but this was probably the way to do it. But man, he really got Jost with a zinger here.
Look, Lawrence had even more comedians and actors joke about me. like the funny guy in Weekend Update, Michael Che.
Boom!
He's hilarious. Scarlett Johansson, you did such an incredible job in your State of the Union rebuttal that you should be do Weekend Update. Oh. Clearly, you're the funny one in the family.
Oh boy.
Wait.
Why would they make him do that?
He always talks about, I have a debilitating stutter. It's like the stutter. I've never really heard the stutter. I hear the slurring. I hear the train of thought being lost. I hear him reading the word pause when that's a stage correction.
That was amazing.
I mean, that's
I do have that clip. Yes.
Oh, God damn it. Sorry to steal your thunder, but
no, it's all right. But like I said, Colin Jost had a couple of good ones, and I like when the crowd doesn't react. But Kelly O'Donnell's her name. She's from NBC News. I guess she's the head of the White House Correspondents Association. So she's sitting on the stage next to him, and you can sometimes hear her go, "No, that was a good one. Oh, that's very funny." So you'll hear that in one or two of these, but. This was a decent joke.
My Weekend Update co-anchor Michael Che was going to join me here tonight, but in solidarity with President Biden, I decided to lose all my black support.
It's an okay joke on TV, but like 10 feet from the president.
Che told me to say that, and I'm just realizing I was set up.
That is the only watchable part of that show of SNL is when they write jokes for each other, and Che writes nothing but racist jokes for Colin Jost to say. But I just got to get a couple more in here. There's one in particular that I think this crowd will like.
We are all here tonight at Nerd Prom. Well, Matt Gaetz is at regular prom.
Oh,
but...
oh yes! Fuck yes!
All right. So when I heard that joke, I'm like, that's an easy joke. He's going to love that one. So that was why I had to include that. And, you always get every joke. It doesn't matter who it is. There's still half the room. It's like, oh, come on. He's not that bad of a guy. But this one is my favorite. And I think this is the one that Kelly O'Donnell thought was good.
Incredible individuals here tonight. Laura Trump is here tonight. Okay, I got one woo. She recently released a cover of the song I Won't Back Down. Upon hearing it, Tom Petty died again.
The back of her head.
I can't believe I'm saying this to a member of the Trump family, but maybe stick to politics?
Now, I don't know if you remember, Eric, but we played her cover of Don't Back Down on this very show.
I do.
Carl, that cover was so bad that you didn't get a copyright strike because no one wanted to be associated with.
It's funny you say that because I'll play song parodies on the show and I get copyright notifications for that. So you really got to fuck up a song.
All right, so this is the last one from Jost that I'm going to play. As Carl's not surprised to hear, I have about 8 other ones, but these are the ones I wanted to make sure I got to.
President Biden, isn't it crazy that he's only our second Catholic president? And what's even crazier is that in just a few short months, we'll have our third in RFK Jr. I'm kidding. Like his vaccine card says, he doesn't have a shot.
Oh, no. Oh, man. I like the ones that even are all right. He's getting nothing from these.
No, yeah. He's getting.
They hate him. They hate him.
Did you notice that Biden didn't really get that joke? He's just kind of like he fixed his hearing aid or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, all right.
I like RFK.
Yeah.
Yay. He takes some good plane flights. All right. So the final thing we're going to have for our show before we wrap up, it is actually what Easy referenced. This is Biden speaking at. It's hard to tell if it's a rally. But it's an event. There's people in the room and they are hooting and hollering, but listen to how the president
next. 4 more years. Pause.
4 more years. Pause.
So there's like 5 guys chanting 4 more years, and shout out to Reverend Shitstain who made sure we saw
Imagine what we can do next. 4 more years.
4 more years. 4 more years.
Okay, so that's all a plan. So those people that are to chant that, they're supposed to chant that.
Yeah.
They're dealt in.
Of course.
And for him to, that's the type of, you have to ask yourself, if he can't even muster that correctly, how the fuck can anybody vote for this guy?
Well, the crazy thing is when they talk about how, well, you got to see him behind closed doors in these meetings. He's running circles around everyone else in that room. It's just like, there's no fucking way in hell. You're not fooling us with that.
By the way, I'm going to vote for him.
Well, just after that Howard interview. But to Carl's point, even Jon Stewart, who obviously would want him to continue being president, is like, if he's running circles around everybody behind closed doors and he's so sharp, how about you show us that? Why is this not the secret Biden that we never get to see?
Right. Yeah, just put it on his Instagram or something. Put it somewhere. We'd love to see it. So I actually have an idea, and I think we have a big enough platform to get this done easy. I think we should all boycott the election this year. What do you think? Nobody votes for president.
I love that idea.
That'd be fun, right? That would send a nice message.
Oh, hey, what if they held an election and nobody came?
Yeah. How do you like that?
I think it's a terrible idea, Carl.
Okay.
I think we need to,
Yeah, Easy's never gone to the school of yes and.
No,
It's always
no.
like, no, go fuck yourself.
Why do you think that's a terrible idea? What's the goddamn difference?
Why don't you tell Carl?
I don't know. It just doesn't sound like a good idea.
Okay.
All right. So, Easy, we want to get caught up on Super Chats, I say, as though we have a lot. Carl, thank you for taking the time to be on with us. I want to make sure everybody goes to hackamania.com. Use the promo code WATP for 20% off tickets for May 31st, June 1st, and June 2nd in Las Vegas. I'm very much looking forward to that. I do love the behind-the-scenes drama of how promo code Cardiff came about.
Yes.
And the fact that more people were using a fake promo code than promo code Ray. Do I have that correct?
So, yeah, what happened was Ray DeVito was bragging that people were using his promo code because Ray DeVito's going to be there doing his stand-up and doing a podcast. And so he's promoting Hackamania like we all are. And according to Patrick Melton, more people were using promo code Cardiff that wasn't even a real promo code. Cardiff's not even there. Than Ray, which is very embarrassing. And then they actually made it so the Cardiff is a real promo code you can use for 20%
But
off.
still not going. One day I'm going to meet that fucking potato. Carl, what's on tap for WATP tomorrow for people who are members or on the Patreon?
Yeah, speaking of Patrick Melton, he is going to come on the show tomorrow. It's been a while since we've had him on WATP. And we've got a couple amazing things to talk about because if anyone's seen this new show we discovered, That Reality Show.
Oh, my God.
With Helga and my new favorite podcaster of all time, Lisa Boswell. They acknowledged us today on their show. They talked about us.
No.
They said, did you see this show? Who are these people? I guess it's a blog. And they like us. That's what they said. So I can't wait to talk about that. Also, Pure Genuine. So
yeah,
one of my favorite podcasts that we've discovered recently. Frenchie Hanna is the host of it. She seems like she just put all the heroin in the world into her veins right before she hits record. She's so out of it. Well, she just put out episode 3 of Pure Genuine, and her guest is that bearded lady, Rio. So it's like, oh my God, you guys are just gift wrapping these for us. I love it. So I'm looking forward to that.
How disappointed are you, Carl, when you listen to a good podcast these days where you're like, there's nothing to clip out of this. I actually enjoy it.
I'll tell you a funny conversation I just had. I was at the hockey game on Sunday, and my buddy who listens to a lot of these podcasts, we were talking about Smartless or one of these shows. And he said, maybe it was Fly on the Wall. He goes, they had so-and-so on. It's pretty good. You should listen to it. I go, well, why would I listen to it? It's pretty good. I'm not thinking that like someone could just give you a recommendation or something fun to listen to. Like, oh yeah, I should listen to something that's good. I should try that one of these days.
Right. It either has to be amazing or absolutely terrible. You don't want to hear one that's pretty good. What's that going to do for you?
What's that going to do?
Have you ever started reviewing one and went, I can't do it. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's happened a couple of times. In fact, I kind of sandbagged Andy and his brother because we did Michael Rappaport's podcast. And those guys came to my house, and they're all ready with their clips to make fun of him. And I go, guys, this show is awesome. I don't know what you're talking about. I love Michael Rappaport. And so I just totally ruined everything they were going to do on the show. It's only happened a couple of times.
Right. And in a way, though, you're fascinated by the that reality show. I wanted to make sure that EZ could actually see the host that we're talking about. I'm just going to show this still of them. But
So
Look at that.
they're both trans women. The one on the right is Lisa Boswell. And according to their website, she was the drummer for Eddie Money.
Wow.
I don't know if that's true or not. People are trying to look into this and get to the bottom of it. I'm not sure.
Shit, because that's not the first time that's happened. One of Jethro Tull's band members did that same thing. Showed up as a chick on stage.
Okay.
And,
I mean, Kurt Cobain did that too, but I think it was just kind of for fun.
Right. And that on the left, god damn it, that's like no effort to look like a woman.
Well, okay, so skip through a little bit because then she does put on a wig on some episodes. They put out almost a show a day. Okay, yeah. So, there's a good one. That's her Bill Maher.
Great.
Harbor Freight.
Of course, I have the
advertising.
I know. Hey, that's money in Carl's pocket right
That's
there.
right. Someone asked if I was drinking a banana bag, and yes, I am drinking bananabag.org/WATP.
Right.
Thank you, Hulkamania, for gifting 5 more, and then
my God,
wow,
gifting 5 more. Unbelievable.
Oh my God.
Oh my God!
So,
and then he just gifted 10 more. Hulkamania, you rule. Thank you so much. Turn on accept gifted memberships. You can watch these shows when we do them live, and plus 2 bonus shows every month.
Exactly. So here's is Lisa the one on the left, or is that the one on the right?
Lisa's on the right.
Okay, so
Helga
anyway,
Mann.
there's the other one. Yeah, there's Helga in the wig. So
Yeah, it looks like Bill Maher there.
anyway, you'll get all of that and more on the latest WATP. Karl, thanks again for being here. And one day I'm gonna get suggested to watch an interview that Howard Stern does, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that was actually pretty good. It reminded me why I used to like Howard. And I'll have that. Yeah, you're right.
Definitely not. Hey, guys, thanks so much for having me on today. Eric, I'm liking the new relaxed Eric Zane. You got the camera pulled back, kind of leaning back a little bit.
You mean it's better than...
Yeah.
We actually got a comment on the video for last week that said, hey, Eric, can you get further back from your camera? Maybe make it so that you're the size of a postage stamp. But
you got the old-timey... He's got the old-timey radio just to remind everyone he's still on FM frequencies.
No, that's not true. There's a tape player on this that I use because I gotta pull audio off these old tapes.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, we all look forward to checking out WATP and going to Hackamania. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. Subscribe to the audio version of this show.
Yes,
EZ, where can people find you?
Eric Zane Show podcast, wherever you download shows.
All right. I know you have to go. Do you want me to tidy up the super chats?
Nope. In fact, I just wanted to show you that we did get one late from Bob, who is in Canada and says, you meant Buffalo Bill and Skin Lamp Friend, right, Karl? I'm not sure what that means, but it sounds good.
Yeah. I never saw this one. Said thank you for not unaliving yourselves. Maybe I missed that one. But I think we got to everything. So make sure that you subscribe to my personal podcast, Bladtcast, BLADTCAST. And on tomorrow's show, you're going to visit with somebody we just had on this show, Don Jameson. We're going to talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees for this year and how pretty much none of them are rock and roll. And his new album, No Sleep Till McSorley's, is #1 on the comedy charts, BLADTCAST, to find that show. Well, that's all the time we have for this week. I'm Christian Bladt, reminding you that every mic is a hot mic. And I put up the wrong super chat like a fucking moron. And remind you that every mic is a hot mic. And I, Christian Bladt, support the Palestinians. Believe me, I've had Jewish landlords, and you really have to go to war with those people to get them to fix anything. See you next week.